What's up, people? Welcome back to Real Talk Podcast. I am your man Banks, and we are here for another episode on the evolution of Black people in anime. Today, we are very fortunate to have with us our the lady behind all of our animation on the show. Go ahead, take it away. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Taylor, and I have my BFA in animation, and I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you, Taylor. And this, of course, I'm one of your hosts, X.
You know, it's Gilz.
Today, people, we are talking about evolution of Black characters in anime. We are talking about how far we have came, and that's why we have Taylor here on the show today. Taylor, can you give us a little bit of the background on anime, please, if you will?
Sure. So anime is basically, it means animation in Japanese, and it is a form of, it's more of a style of art here in the US, and anime, or Japanese animation, started in about 1900s. It was basically first based off of war and technology and everything like that, and then progressively over time it began to develop into what we know today as anime.
Now I know you have there's like certain different subgenres and different sections in anime. Like, do you have like a specific style that you prefer, or like what are some of your favorite animes if you had some?
Some of my favorite animes, there's Naruto, Attack on Titan. Let's see. There's so many that I've watched. It's not even funny. Like, I can't even think of half of them. But
yeah, but off of those two, I feel like you have like a certain type of lane.
Yeah, I'm more into like the horror, supernatural, or sometimes I like isekai, which is basically where a person is transported or reincarnated into a fantasy realm or a non-fantasy realm. And so I like some of those.
What's an example of one of those?
An example
like,
is
Spirit Way. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Spirit Away is more, I wouldn't call it an isekai because it deals with the actual like real life and world, and it's based off of yokai, which is Japanese ghost or spirits. So I wouldn't consider that isekai. More of, I'd say, real life. If you've ever watched Real Life, there's so many. Cautious Hero, there's some funny ones, and then there's some serious ones, but there's also ReZero, which is a pretty popular one. But yeah.
Okay. Well, for myself, I'm personally an anime head. X and Gilz don't share my enthusiasm about it, but anime has always been like a very important part of it's a part of film to me. I enjoy watching it, all kinds. But the thing we wanted to get into today was about the evolution of Black characters and how we have been portrayed down through the years of anime. So I believe to get down to that, you gotta know where anime was first started. And as Taylor touched on it, anime was brought forward in the early 1900s. The first anime was actually brought about in around 1916 to 17 in chalk by Shimokawa Oten. I hope I didn't butcher that man's name like that. But the uncertainty of like the years, like the reason they can't get an exact time frame on it is because most Japanese films were dismantled like right after being made. So we'll probably never get that direct answer unless we had him here to answer the questions for us. But the things we are here to touch on most are about the way we've been portrayed in anime. So before I get into that, Gilz, can you tell me any like any of your anime experiences, any animes you've watched? I know you're not very big on it.
I wouldn't say that. So initially when I was growing up, it started with Dragon Ball Z, right? And coming home from school, running home because for some reason they made the time like 4:30 when you get out of school, like 4. So there's no time whatsoever. I had to I was walking distance from school, so I had to like rush home in middle school just to catch the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, just to hear Goku yell for like 30 minutes and just wait the next time on Dragon Ball Z. But that was my first initial experience with like anime. And then from there, I never really looked into it until college. My roommate, shout out Cass, he's like one of my closest friends. Like he was heavy into anime. So he put me on to anime. And there was one that he put me on to One Piece. One Piece, after I was initially, I started off slow. And then once I got into it, it just kind of like ruined my life. Like I was, completely ruined my life. Drop out of school, end up pregnant, sell my body for money. That kind of ruined my life. Because it never ends. I'm on like episode 775 right now, and they're above 1,000. So like I had to take breaks in between. Like it's bad.
Of course.
But from there, like that's my main thing that I still watch to this day. But I've watched other animes like Dororo. I don't know if anybody heard of that one.
Dororo?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, Dororo. Yeah, I've heard
of it. The new version or the old version?
The old version.
The old version?
Yeah, the one with the
the black and white.
The one, no, not the black and white. I guess.
Okay,
I guess it's the new version. Okay, gotcha.
Like
when he's putting his body parts back together by killing all the demons. Okay, gotcha.
That is one of my favorites at this moment.
I've also seen Megaloboxing. I've seen I've seen a few things here and there. I'm not the anime guy, but when I do catch one that I like, I stick to it. I still haven't looked at Attack on Titan yet. I'm still trying to get past One Piece, but yeah. I know. I'm gonna get to it eventually. But yeah.
Well, X, what you got? I know you barely watched any anime.
I'm not too big on anime. When I do see black characters, I do stop, see what it's about. It's kind of hard for me to get into it. I guess I feel like maybe it was just something that I needed to grow up with. I never really watched Dragon Ball Z. I do have some memories of like friends watching it, and I might have sat there and watched it or whatever, but I definitely wasn't watching it after school with, sports and stuff like that. Maybe that's why I wasn't able to catch it as much. But I did remember watching Afro Samurai. And I only watched that because it was Samuel L. Jackson. So the idea of anime kind of didn't pull it to me. The idea of anime didn't pull me to that. Samuel L. Jackson actually pulled me to it, but I definitely did enjoy that one. And then another one I watched is Baki on Netflix. And I watched that one because they had an episode with Muhammad Ali and then Muhammad Ali's son. So I got caught into those, and then that's really where it's at. I guess I really don't know why I couldn't get attached to it, but there are some of them that, like I mentioned, that I do like, that I do enjoy. So, I don't have anything against an anime, of course.
Is there like an entry level like anime for people that's not really getting into it? Because like for me, Death Note was really one of the ones I was like, okay, I fuck with.
Well, there are the basic shonen animes, which is everybody usually gets into, which is like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and stuff like that. But I think you dip those in and find what genre is, something that you like personally. It's really hard to tell without because for me, I went from watching Dragon Ball Z to One Piece to Naruto, and then after that, after I found out that it was anime, because at the time I didn't know
I thought it was a cartoon.
Yeah, I thought it was a regular cartoon. After finding out it was anime, I decided to kind of branch out, and I just found things that I like. And
So
That's usually how you have to do it.
that's a good question. So what's the difference between, you know, our regular childhood cartoons and then anime?
Story,
Just the story?
plot.
Yes.
What?
Okay, so
That's
would
the
you
difference.
classify something like, because I thought it was something like the drawing. Would you classify something like the Boondocks, which into that anime like sometimes it just go back to, you know, something like a regular cartoon? Would you say something classify something like that? Maybe like a hybrid?
I would say it runs the line of it.
Yeah,
I
I
would say
think
like
it's like a hybrid.
it like runs the line of cartoon, and because you have in every episode where they have like this underlying story with like the first season Huey's being followed by the secret agent, and then but the rest of the episodes they're completely doing shit that has nothing to do with. So I would say it really runs the line.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like basically the plot of this, like the animation is catered to Americans and how they like stuff, like Adult Swim kind of stuff, like where every episode is like random. They don't really make sense sometimes. There's no actual plot except for the main characters are living their lives. And then the other aspect of it is that it's an anime style. So it's basically an anime style with a US, like an American cater towards. So
it's like America did what they did with everything else. They took it and slapped their name on it.
Okay, so a lot of the animes that are popular that we're seeing now are like American made or made for America.
Actually, they're made. I mean, they're. I can say, because if you've ever been to Japan or if you've been in Asia, period, they are heavy on the anime. Like Goku is in their airport. Like they are heavy on anime. It was made for them. So that's why a lot of them it comes out sub at first, which the anime people know what I'm talking about. You have the subtitles because it's in Japanese.
What do you prefer?
I prefer sub.
I prefer.
Would you say that about Dragon Ball Z? Would you say that's the same thing?
No.
I thought Dragon Ball Z was the one that broke that rule.
Yes. Now, Dragon Ball Z has to be dubbed for me because I cannot stand his voice.
Absolutely. No, because he sounds like this, like all the time. He sounds like a little kid, like for real. So him, especially in Super, Dragon Ball Z is the one it has to be dubbed. I can't watch.
There's an exception to every rule. So.
Yes, there's an exception to every rule. You are absolutely right. But moving forward, so now we're gonna get to what we're here for. Over the years, you've had a lot of animators in the anime culture. When it comes down to drawing or portraying Black characters, I've always felt, since I was little, like they were out of touch. Like I grew up just like Gilz. And Taylor, my first anime was Dragon Ball Z. Didn't know it was an anime, thought it was a cartoon. It was on Toonami. That and Trigun. Those were my very first two animes. So I always noticed when it came down to the Black characters, we were always drawn in the most generic and almost insulting way. Like we're always drawn the darkest brown or black they can find, and then our lips take up 98% of our face. And they're bright pink. We have the starter pack fro. And it's always an afro. Like we never have a fade. It's always an afro. And it took me a while until I was about in my teens to find an anime, which was actually older anyway, but I didn't find it. Cowboy Bebop. That actually a lot of characters on there were Black, and a lot of people didn't know they were Black. Ed was Black. Jet is Black. A lot of the assassins they were hunting were Black. And that was the first anime I really seen that portrayed us like we were drawn like everyone else. Not like everyone else, but we had normal facial features and normal lip size and everything. So that was just always my experience. So Taylor, I would ask you, what did you have that same feeling growing up, like being a fan of anime?
I did when it came to Dragon Ball Z. Some of the characters I was told that were supposed to represent Black people, and it was kind of like, the over lips and stuff like that. And I was thinking like Piccolo's black. Like,
that's what I
Piccolo's definitely black.
Yes, Piccolo's definitely black. I was gonna say it just now. Piccolo's black.
I was too, but I was like,
I was like, this man is this alien. He's black. Like if he was human, he would be black. But I think that when I was watching Naruto, they had a whole clan that was black.
They do.
So that's kind of how I really got like, a little representation into animation, like, because I was like, oh my gosh, I see myself like in anime in a country, because I visited Japan like multiple times and I've lived there, and you don't see black people that often, not at all. So to see them represent me in a place where they barely see us, unless it's on like American TV or something like that, like it's just like special.
I have a quick question.
What's up?
So like in these animes that you're talking about, your first time really experience a black character in the actual animation, like in the storyline, are they like saying that the character is black, or they just left it for us to assume like by what they look like they're black, right? Because I know you said, for example, Piccolo gave off maybe by what he does, how he talks, how he moves, that he's black, but he's not, he doesn't give the image of a black character. But then you have another character that looks like he's black, but not the right representation. So I'm saying
in every anime, I can say in every anime that I've seen a black character, I've never heard them say I'm black. But in Cowboy Bebop, one of the characters, he's literally hunting. He has a fro. He has a pencil. Like he looks like a pimp named Slickback, but instead of a perm, it's a fro.
Right.
So it's like, okay, he's definitely black. In Naruto, the particular clan she's talking about, my actual favorite black anime character is called Killer Bee. He's a rapper. Yep. He's a rapping ninja. Like he raps, like how he talks, he raps everything. Everything rhymes. And that's kind of corny for me. Like I'm like, y'all really had to make him rap. But him and his brother is basically, he's the Raikage, which is like the king of their clan. Both of them got braids. They're blonde braids, but they're braids. And I'm like, you can't mistake braids for anything else. So I'm like, they're definitely black. Their whole clan, out of every person on the show, every other person is fair-skinned. If anything, they might get to maybe a little tan, but
so it's like racially ambiguous. Like they don't really make it like that in your face.
But when it comes to that clan, they black. Like they're you can clearly see the difference in their skin and everything. So and they're like some of the toughest fighting. They actually, what I appreciated was they made this clan is some like the hardest people in the show.
Okay. Did they start like when the first season dropped? Were they in there, or did they come later on?
Killer Bee didn't come in because the first couple of seasons it's focused on the character Naruto, and as he branches out and he's what you call a Jinchuriki. He has like this ancient spirit locked in him, so he has to find the other. It's 9 of them. He has to find the other 8 and to help them from people snatching their Jinchuriki. And Killer Bee is one of those Jinchurikis. Okay. He's the 8. Yeah, he's the 8 tails. So they don't come in. I can't remember. There's all type of different Narutos. There's Naruto, then there's Naruto Shippuden, then there's you got to try to tie in all the movies and where they go. Then there's Boruto way down the line. So it's but no, they're not in the initially, but once they get started, you see them very often.
Okay.
I always thought it was interesting because when I look back at and I don't want to talk about Dragon Ball Z the whole time, but it's just interesting because like when I look at it, it's about race. A lot of it is about race because Vegeta's, if you think about it, Vegeta is racist. He thinks his race is the most powerful, the most important, like fuck everybody else. Like we shit. I don't think about it like the same race, the same bloodline.
I think he has just that. I don't think he's racist. And it's interesting that you said this in front of X because I think he has me and X's perspective of things.
Which is what?
Like I feel as if, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. True. when it comes to certain things, there are a reason, like we used to be breeded for certain things because we're faster, we're stronger, we're at times when you look at the inventions of America and you look at who invented them, we've been the most intelligent. Like we literally have our hand and finger in everything. I don't necessarily see Vegeta as he's shitting on everybody, but when you come from where he comes from, where you literally grow up fighting from the day you're born till the day you die, you're gonna have that hard ass outset where it's like you weak, but you're really weak. It's not, I'm just saying you're weak, you're weak. But
Vegeta will say you're weak even if you ain't weak. So I don't know if that. I don't know
mean,
if that really.
He does.
Ego.
But he has an ego. I don't think it's necessarily him being racist. Now, Frieza is racist.
Frieza's racist.
Yeah.
I thought it was a she up front. I first met her.
I honestly feel like
genocide and everything.
I honestly feel like the way they set this up, Saiyans are black people. Saiyans are black people. If you look at it from one perspective, Frieza came to his planet. He enslaved all of them. He made them do all his hard labor, and they're actually stronger than him, but they don't know it. Black people.
That was deep. I gotta go back and watch the show now. That was deep.
They're actually stronger than him. They just don't know it, and neither does he. He feels like he's the supreme being. Nothing they do is ever going to amount to him until he sees it. I feel like Goku, when he first went Super Saiyan, that was like Nat Turner, like that was like Nate Parker, like it was on that level for me. So like looking at it from that perspective, but you can draw any perspective from it. It's just looking at it from that perspective. I feel like in a way there was like symbolism there.
Sounds like good, right?
So why ain't there any black Saiyans? I don't know. Whatever. I'm off that. But when I look at the whole racial ambiguous part of it, there's certain characters like when you say a Piccolo or you say somebody else that you can say, damn, like are they or aren't they? And when I look at, the one that I'm most familiar with is One Piece, there's been background characters that have been, actually black, like, one of the I forgot his name, Aokiji, he was one of the people that got the ice power, whatever. But when I look at somebody like the main characters, we don't get a lot of that. So I did want to ask if you guys are familiar with that particular, One Piece. I'm sure you are. Is Usopp, is he or is he not black? Because
I never really looked into it. I don't know. If you had to go to my guess, I'd be like, yeah. if you was going off what I looked at, I would just be like, yeah, I could see that. But it's not like I can't give you the definite. I've never
not somebody that you really want to claim. Like, yeah, he's one of us. Like,
yeah, it was just like if you see it, it's like they tried. Like it looks like that's what they were trying to do, but okay. I don't know.
That always bothered me, but yeah.
So I would say with that being said, what do you feel? How do you feel anime in its present time? Because obviously Dragon Ball Z isn't getting any. They're not getting any new black characters. They haven't had any new black characters in a while. It's been Piccolo and Mr. Popo for like ever.
We don't claim Mr. Popo.
Yeah, we don't claim Mr. Popo because of this exact conversation. Mm-hmm. But with everything with anime in its current state, how do you feel about it being black? How do you feel about it, Taylor?
Well, I see they're improving a lot on the black characters, and I'm seeing a lot more black characters, which is a good thing. I do feel like there's if they do want to, because what anime basically is based off of Japan. It's based off of in Japan and whatnot. Now you have an anime like Vinland Saga, which is about Vikings, then you're not going to see that many, black people, of course. No. But a lot of anime likes to bring in people from the United States into the anime itself and have characters meet these people. I think that in that way they should, I guess, incorporate more black people within, because it's not all blonde, blue-eyed people in America. So
I found it interesting that Toriyama, which is Akira Toriyama is he's the man behind Dragon Ball Z. I found it interesting that all of his characters, the main race of this, even though there's only a select few of them, the main race in Dragon Ball Z is Saiyans. I found it interesting that his most powerful form for the Saiyans at one point was blonde hair, blue eyes, because Goku is traditionally, he's black haired, black eyes. And when he changes, when he's at his most powerful at one point during the Frieza saga, the most powerful you can be is a Super Saiyan, and 2 and then 3, until you get to 4, which it changes hair back to black. But those 3 first forms, your strongest form is blonde hair, blue eyes. I found it very interesting that even in watching anime, the reason I thought this was a regular cartoon, I just thought they were using funky ass names, was because none of these characters looked, I guess they didn't have like the traditional Asian look. But then I was like, how do you draw Asian? It's like telling you to go draw black. And I mean, yeah, you can have, but there's very few that I've seen, but there are white people with big lips. They're like, it's out there. So it's like, how do you draw this? But I found it very interesting that his strongest form, when you're supposed to be at your most powerful, is blonde hair, blue eyes. So I always wondered why he chose that. Did it look more appealing aesthetically, like to him, than just having his hair raise up and be black? And now the strongest form is his hair is white and his eyes are white. So it's like, it's like, did you go with that because it was such a hard contrast to his hair being black and you were just trying to show change? Or did you grab from that blonde hair, blue eyes is better?
Well, hold on. Isn't at one point, like you, like at your strongest form, early on, you turn into a full-grown monkey, like becoming, literally going ape shit.
Yeah.
So like, does that play into your racial question?
It does, because at one point it was like, okay, we're at our base. If you think of it from a purely racial standpoint, it's like at our base form, I'm, as Frieza calls them, monkeys. Through history, we've been called monkeys. When we're supposed to be better, because the Super Saiyan is supposed to be able to beat the Ozaru. That's what they call the ape form. I'm supposed to be better with the blonde hair, blue eye. So I've always looked at it that way. I looked at it that way. The first time I watched Dragon Ball Z, I was like 8 or 9. I've always looked at it that way. I was like, so you're better when you went to this form than you are here. When you're a giant ape that shoots lasers out of your mouth. I don't know. So it was always that interesting take on it. I didn't know. I wanted to basically peg everyone else's brain and see if they saw it that way. Because I know that's One Piece, now Naruto, because Naruto wasn't that around when I was a kid. So then it was whatever you saw on Toonami. So Trigun, maybe a lot of people don't remember Trigun. It just didn't have the popularity. Gundam, one of my favorite animes, like top 5, is Gundam, G Gundam. It's like, did you grab that? And even in some parts in G Gundam, when he uses this thing called the burning finger, if he gets so angry and he powers up fully, his hair stands up and it turns gold. So I'm like, is that was it gold, or were you going for blonde hair, blue eyes? And it drags you into that constantly.
So I'm thinking, I didn't really, I'm just thinking from maybe a film standpoint, maybe it was more appealing to draw, or maybe the creators was trying to attract a certain audience. And they know that this is what would attract them to watch their show. They know that this message will happen. I personally think, and I have no type of way to figure this out, but I personally think a lot of filmmakers don't put a message to a lot of stuff that they do until after they've done it, if that makes sense. And then I think that's when they start to really think about what they did. But I think we have to think about the time that it was created in, what was going on around us. That I think that plays a huge part, and the making of different things, creators and stuff like that, and then just who they're trying to appeal to. So which is kind of hard to believe, because it seems like from the start of time that people have always been for, you know, trying to get the black dollar, right? Like, it's just like,
Yes.
we'll always, you know, whatever they do is trying to attract the black dollar. But that's what I think, that's what I would chalk it up as. I think just it was more appealing on paper, or the audience that, you know, the creators was trying to attract.
You also have to kind of remember that Japan, or some Japanese people, I'm not going to generalize all of them, but they love European features. And that comes with blue eyes and blonde hair. That's just something that they've been taught is beautiful. Like we've been taught, like light skin is better. Like that is exactly like, it's what they like, you know? So to like put that in anime, from their standpoint, I guess I kind of understand, because it's not like they've, you know, they interact with Black people, you know, 24/7 or anything like that. So yeah, but
I feel like pop culture has a bigger hold on anime now. Like, you got to remember, Akira Toriyama was making this anime in like the 80s. Like Dragon Ball Z, a lot of people don't even know Dragon Ball Z was already written. Like the Buu Saga was written in the 90s. Like that, it was done because, and I know this because my cousin that actually got me into Dragon Ball Z, he had this toy. I'd never seen this character before in Dragon Ball Z. I didn't see it until I was damn near grown on TV. And the series didn't come out till it was on TV. And I was like, yo, you had this way. But going into the mangas and everything that was built in, like everything was made in the 80s. And this is supposedly when America was the greatest country on the planet. That's when America was supposed to be it. And the first thing you think when you think America, you don't think Black people. I do, but someone from the outside looking in, you're thinking blonde hair, blue, Captain America. You're thinking Chris Evans. Like you're not thinking J. Cole. That's not what you're thinking about. So I attribute, like, I didn't absolutely go in and be like, oh no, they were being racist. It was just that's the thought process I took with it, because like it could very well be it was more aesthetically pleasing to draw it that way and have it. There's one form where the hair is red. There's one form where the hair is blue. Now there's a form where his hair is white. You could literally go everywhere with this. And having those characters in that, I noticed you ain't seen Mr. Popo in an episode of Dragon Ball in how long? Like I have not seen him. And I think it was like maybe okay, this was clearly wrong. We need to take him off the screen because I ain't seen him. And I still follow, I still watch. More TV shows are having us with, and they're not drawing us with the oversized nose or the oversized lip. They're drawing us to look in the many shapes and forms that we come in. So for it to be coming like that, I feel like we're breaking ground and moving forward as we should be.
Question, like I always think of it from like a profitability standpoint. Like you know, if you want your answers, follow the money, right? So do you guys think you know, if you know, compared to versus then, you know, when you know those animes came out when we were younger compared to now, do you think that, you know, they didn't think, you know, having, you know, Black leads as, you know, the characters in your anime would be profitable versus now? Or do you think Absolutely. Like do you think now it would be something that lead to, you know, like something that could become really popular and mainstream?
I think it wouldn't have been like that. And it goes back to what I said about Black culture. I mean, pop culture being an influence on it. If you look at music right now, anime is just like music. If you look at music right now, every single genre is almost led by predominantly Black people running it. R&B, mostly Black. Like at the top of it. Pop, Chris Brown runs that shit. Over and over again. Pop and R&B really have merged now. Like there's no really true R&B anymore. Rap, of course we run that. You look at every aspect of it, but in the 90s, you forget niggas used to get beat up for watching anime. Like you used to have to throw hands about anime. or used to get made fun of about anime. Like it wasn't cool then. And you just had your people who just stayed down and was just like, nah, this is something I like. And just like everything else, it worked its way into being the popular trend. And now you got everybody watching anime. I mean, you still have your people that fall in with X, like he doesn't not like it, but he doesn't particularly have a taste for it. But predominantly now, you can't be anywhere without being around somebody who likes anime.
So why do you think it wasn't popular back when we was kids? Because cartoons has always cartoons has always been popular with children.
It's because they start calling it something else. It wasn't cartoons. This is anime. When you start slapping the name on, because a lot of people don't even know. A lot of people didn't even know. Like me and Taylor both didn't know Dragon Ball Z was an anime. We thought that shit was a regular cartoon and they just throwing mad hands. Like that's it. And once you call something, you find it has this other history. Because other cartoons, SpongeBob is SpongeBob. Rugrats is Rugrats. Hey Arnold is Hey Arnold. Dragon Ball
Avatar.
Avatar, I feel like it's an anime. Due to the story, I feel like it's an anime. When you look at the story, and just like anime, it has several books that haven't been written, that haven't been placed on TV screen yet, and it has this whole other history, like this whole other what's the word I'm looking for? Lore. That's what they say about Star Wars. Like it's just like Star Wars. It has this whole other part of it that nobody can touch, and it's just like, all right, that's a little weird, or it just doesn't look like something that's cool to do. You know, everybody's worried about image.
I think people are also looking at anime who've never seen anime. I think they're looking at it as a cartoon, and they're not. Cartoon is like totally different. Every story is like every episode's different.
Random.
But then a person who's never seen anime before, never knows like some of the deep plots that they talk about and everything like that, they're thinking that this is just another animation where kids watch. But if you see something like Attack on Titan, I don't think you want your kids to watch that, you know what I'm saying? But they don't know that, so they're judging you based off of something that you like that is different. And they don't like different. Like people don't like different.
So you think that if they would have added Black characters back in the 90s or 80s, that crave for that we are in now would have been in that 80s and 90s time?
It's funny you say that, because as far as I know, I don't know about females, because it's really hard to find Black females that are into anime because we're secret about it. But a lot of Black males were into anime when they were young. At least for my perspective, they were like every Black person I knew, every Black male that I knew was into anime. So, and there was virtually no Black people in the anime itself. So to say that it's kind of hard to like, answer.
I think so because if we look at our history, just about anything that the Black community accepts or take over, eventually become the crave in some shape or form. Yeah, it becomes it becomes like that's the thing to do. We should do this. We should dress like that. We should look like this. Even things where our basic features like afros and curly hair, whatever the case may be, wasn't the thing. And then now it's the thing. Now everybody, wants to do it. Like, having big butts and stuff like that. Like it wasn't, nobody wanted to have that. And then now all of a sudden, so I think it would have been, because I just like to, I don't know if I like to think this, but I just think secretly, whatever the Black community accepts is what's okay.
Yeah.
I think it only took a while because, certain people, you couldn't go to school and then, watch an episode of Naruto and then start running through the halls with your hand behind your back like this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's going to slow the progress down. That's going to slow the progress down because like, look at this clown over here. I'm not rocking with whatever you're doing. Even not knowing that he doesn't represent exactly every fan that watches
That's
it. But
wild.
I think that slowed it down. But eventually things come back around, things come to light. So I don't know.
You're right. And I mean, like to Gil's point, there's dudes who have
You
tried
know
to
that
go Super
dude.
Saiyan.
You know that dude.
Like
Yeah,
you
we
do.
all know- we
There's
all
dudes
know
that's-
the dude. We
there's
all know
dudes that try to go
status.
Super Saiyan. To blatantly answer X question, I don't feel like on anime, I feel like our demand isn't what filled it. I feel like they noticed, damn, we got a lot of black fans. And in the era of social media, which is around the time that I started seeing Naruto, you got a lot of people that's online like, yo, I watch anime. Yo, I watch anime too. So it's like if you're coming from supply and demand, if you're a business, an anime company, and you looking at it, you're like, okay, however much percentage of our fans is black, and it's predominant, like those are the people that's watching us the most, or at least at a half a clip, like at least half of them are of some other ethnic, because there's only so many things you can draw into a cartoon to make, unless you get really, like I've seen some animations is like get really deep into the animation, but with Naruto, you're not gonna be able to draw somebody to look exactly Asian. I mean, all the characters are Asian and none of them look Asian. So
I don't think it's the fan base. I think it's hard for me to believe that it would be the fan base that would make them decide, let's make more.
I think so,
black
because
characters.
it wasn't this blatant hard, because when you look at a company, normally when they see something that like in the black community, they go super hard at it. They go dumb hard at it. And it's almost like you're trying too hard. Stop.
I don't know. I gotta agree with X, because I'm like, I look at it from, I feel like I answered this question already, but I still don't understand why black people weren't a part of it. When you look at anime as a whole, you've seen some of the most diverse characters across the landscape. Like even you go back to Sailor Moon, which is early on, they had literally a lesbian couple inside of the team, whatever. And which before that was like a mainstream thing.
My answer was they thought it wasn't cool. They thought black people, I believe they thought black people thought anime wasn't cool because of the us getting, like, people getting beat up because black people getting beat up because they watch anime. Black people getting made fun of because they watch it. I think on a high scale, we thought that shit wasn't cool.
I don't know. That's hard to believe.
I also think it's the exposure to black people, because, like I said, because of tourism, they're seeing more black people, and they're like, oh, they're not like the white media and how they portray us as like thugs and always stealing. They're not like this at all. Like, I just think it's also that too.
So Taylor, like, if you think, and going back to the Sailor Moon thing, at that time they were more exposed to people in the LGBT community rather than black people, even more than black people. Because even that, I was out at the time that wasn't really highly accepted like it is now.
When it comes into things like that, you got to think about it. Black people are, like, if you're born a predominant race, like if you're born from this race, black race, there's obviously not that many black people walking around Japan. Like we're not everywhere. But sexuality is fluid. Like you can't. Sexuality jumps leaps and bounds through ethnicity, beliefs, and everything. Like it's everywhere. Exposed to that more than they're exposed to black people.
Well, shout out to Japan for being progressive, because
I think on this topic, I think it's a little bit different. I think our voices is what made them decide that they needed to start changing something. Because I don't see in any standpoint, because like I'm a firm believer that if you're a creator and you're creating something, you, of course, you're doing it for the love of it, and that's what you want to do, but you're doing it to make money. And if I'm creating a white show with white characters, example like Friends, and everybody on the show is making $1 million an episode, there's really no need for me to decide one day I want to put a black character on my show. Right. So I think
single.
Right. So I think our voices, or the black community, voices, started to shine through that, saying we want more of this, we want more of that. This character's look is not acceptable. So they started to take it off. That's what I think it was. I think it was the voices, the black community voices, because I've always known people that liked anime, right? Like of all races, all genders. no matter what it is, right? But I just think our voices now, maybe we're matured, and you know, now we're the age where we're having kids and stuff like that, and we're allowing our kids to watch these shows. And I think our voices are now, because that we're seeing that across everywhere, the Oscars, you know, and the Hollywood, we're seeing that going through everywhere. Our voices are starting to be heard, and now they're you know, stepping up to the plate to make sure that we're not, you know, complaining anymore, whatever the case may be. So I think it's more so just the voices. Like, we're just tired of seeing us not represented in any way for some shows on screen when we need to be. And definitely, if we're giving you our dollar, we should at least see, you know, some type of representation.
Okay. So moving forward, what are some things you believe, and this is for everybody, what are some things y'all believe that in the future animators in the world do to further push the positivity in the Black community? Like, what are some things you feel they should do?
Research.
Or what would you like to see? Research.
I think research, especially if they want to talk about, you know, someone of another race. I think they should do research, and yeah, all they need to do. The internet is wide.
It is.
You can learn a lot.
What you think, Gilz?
I think before you have representation on the screen, you need it behind the scenes first. So you're going to need people that are voicing Black characters. You need people in the writing room that are making. You need Black animators like Taylor herself. You know, I mean, you need people in that space so that you can get something authentic. You don't want to just be like, all right, we're targeting our demographic to the Black audience now, so let's just make everything Black. But you might miss the target. So I think you need people sharing ideas with you. So
what you think, X? I know I'm interested.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think representation starts behind the scenes always. I think whoever's creating the stories, whoever's drawing the characters, and even to go up to far as whoever's making the decisions on, okay, this is a good character to draw, because somebody's sitting back drawing them, but they're, you know, a lot of times they're drawing what whoever owns the project wants. So I think representation starts there. Whoever's creating this project, whoever's starting it, paying for it, that's where the representation needs to start. And then that would show out in the work and where it goes. And if you got somebody authentic in that spot, then the work is going to be authentic.
Gotcha. Quick question for Taylor. Hypothetical situation. Mm-hmm. Netflix sends you that email like, yo, we throwing the bag at you, 10 million, the budget don't matter, whatever, but I need your idea for a Black or something like an anime tomorrow. Like, do you have like something that would be Black represented or something in the pocket? You don't gotta say what it is, because I don't want nobody to steal your idea, but would you have something ready or something that you've been cooking up already, or would you need more time than just like, I can't do it like in a week or something like that?
Oh, I could definitely do it in a week. I could do it real fast. Okay. I have so many stories that I want to just animate. Like,
I was just doing one yesterday. I was doing one yesterday. It's in my notes.
If you're a creator, you always got ideas and stuff ready in the book. Always. I think that's something that no matter what if you film, cartoons, whatever it is, if you're a creator, you always got something in the book. It might not be the best thing, it might not be what you want to present, like if you're in a moment like that, but you always got something cooking in your mind on some paper, saved somewhere. I feel like writers, I think they always got that cooking.
Yeah, creators gonna create.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like something that's nonstop. Like it's a wheel that's like always turning. Like for me, anything can get me to having ideas, whether it's like I find myself like creating a pointless scene that, you know, no plot, no nothing, reason. But I seen something and I'm like, yo, that would be a dope scene if this happened or that happened. And then I write it down and then maybe I can implement it into something someday. You know what I'm saying? So I think not to I just think that all creators just always have something ready and popping to go.
I can't tell you how many times I text X or shared matter of fact, he shared my note. He got my notes. Like I share a notepad with him in my phone. I got like 5 movie ideas that I just came up with randomly. My takeaway from this conversation, I felt like it was a very important conversation because again, if you've been watching all of our episodes, you know we always harp on representation is everything. Like it's very, very important. To answer my own question that I asked, I would have to agree with all 3 of y'all that representation from all angles is important, but behind the scenes is definitely where I have to get that driving power. And actually, what I wanted to say was there's actually a guy who just started his own predominantly Black anime company, and he's like, so I'm very interested in that. I've been looking up, but they're still in like the ground levels of working, and then even Idris Elba and his wife are. I just read that like a week ago. Are looking into Black animation, so it's definitely. There's definitely more than enough minds to get it done. It's just the fact of getting it done, and I feel like it's definitely something that we could.
Are you talking about that Gods of Egypt thing?
Gods of Egypt was like something else, and I saw it, and like I haven't gotten a chance to watch any episodes of it because it looked interesting. That was something that I seen those. I don't know if they're related, but I saw those 2 things separately, so I'm not sure.
I think my biggest take from today is that I learned that anime is actually, animation. It's a Japanese animation. I thought it was something different with like the drawing of what it is they're doing, but knowing that this is just Japanese version of animation, and I learned that is some interesting stuff out there. You can have interesting conversations about representation in all walks of creation. And we all need to be represented in those different walks of creations.
Sure. What'd you take away from the day, Gilz?
I've been enlightening a lot of stuff today. I gotta go back and watch Dragon Ball Z from a racial standpoint perspective now. Thanks to you. I think I don't want to like just look like a Black is better and everything, but it's just like I think we have something to add to any type of media, whether it be film or something like animation. I think having more than one voice in the room, especially with our perspective, it's only going to add, it's only going to make things better. So but yeah, that was my main takeaway.
Man, Taylor, what did you pull away from today? You were really schooling all of us for real.
I mean, this conversation kind of just made me want to create even more like animations with, Black characters. Because I have a goal of going to Geidai University, which is in Japan. And I would really love to make like an animation studio there and everything. So
what's the criteria to get in there? Like what's stopping you?
It's hard.
Nothing's stopping me. I just need money. And
that's always.
Yeah.
Always.
She got the talent for it. So
you got the talent for sure.
You got the talent for damn sure. So
facts.
And that's a wrap, people. We definitely enjoyed having y'all today. We enjoyed having our wonderful animator here.
Appreciate Taylor.
This would not be the last time y'all see her.
Definitely.
And that's us signing off. Peace.